Good evening and welcome to CYC News for today, the 14th of September 2014 and the 4th of Tut, 17:31 a.m. I'm Angie. In today's headlines, South African Paralympian Oscar Pistorius found guilty of culpable homicide. Obama meets with Middle Eastern church leaders to discuss the threat of the Islamic State. His Grace Bishop Angaelos calls for collaboration against extremism. An update on the health of Bishop Bakhomios. The IMF speak out ahead of the Scottish independence referendum, and a new study reveals the brain can classify words during sleep. South African Paralympian Oscar Pistorius has been found guilty of culpable homicide, the South African equivalent of manslaughter, after being acquitted of murdering his model girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp. Pistorius has also been acquitted of one count of discharging a firearm in public, but has been found guilty on a second count of discharging a firearm in public. He has been found not guilty of illegal possession of ammunition. Pistorius could face more than 10 years in one of South Africa's notoriously brutal prisons. The verdict is the result of a 6-month murder trial attracting global media interest with live broadcasts of the proceedings. In a globally broadcasted live television verdict, Judge Thokozile Masipa yesterday found the double amputee nicknamed Blade Runner not guilty of deliberately killing 29-year-old Reeva Steenkamp. Masipa told the Pretoria High Court, "The state has clearly not proved beyond reasonable doubt that the accused is guilty of premeditated murder." Many legal experts are surprised by the verdict and expect that an appeal for a harsher sentence may be lodged. President Barack Obama received Eastern patriarchs who had attended the Supporting Christians in the Middle East Summit, which was held in Washington for 3 days under the auspices of the Defense of Christians Association. Patriarch Mar Ignatius Ephraim II, Patriarch of the Syriac Orthodox Church, told MCN that President Obama told them that he would fight ISIS in Iraq and Syria. He pointed out that Obama asked them to encourage the churches to play their role in spreading the spirit of tolerance in the region. He said that President Barack Obama asserted that the United States would not be a guard for the whole region, but it is necessary to have a coalition of Arab and Islamic states to fight Daesh. His Holiness told MCN that the patriarchs of the Middle East handed a letter to Obama to fight Daesh through. They urged him to give attention to displaced Christians in Iraq. They called for an international protection for Christians in the Nineveh Plain and humanitarian aid and homes to the displaced. Those attending the meeting included Mar Ignatius Ephraim II, Patriarch of the Syriac Orthodox Church, Patriarch Gregory III Laham, Patriarch of Antioch and all the East of Melkite Greek Catholics, Maronite Patriarch Bishara Rahi, Patriarch Ignatius Joseph III Yunan, the Patriarch of Antioch and all the East, Armenian Orthodox Aram I Keshinian, and Edmund Butros, a representative of the minorities in Lebanon. Bishop Angaelos, General Bishop of the Coptic Orthodox Church in the UK, also attended the meeting as a representative of Pope Tawadros II, Pope of Alexandria and Patriarch of the St. Mark Diocese. The conference was attended by over 1,000 participants from political parties and important figures from the countries of the Middle East. U.S. President Barack Obama declared a counterterrorism strategy against the Islamic State Wednesday, saying the greatest threats come from the Middle East and North Africa as radical groups exploit grievances for their own gain. The General Bishop of the Coptic Orthodox Church in the UK says that the international community needs to collaborate against violations of religious freedom in Iraq, Syria, and the Middle East in general. His Grace Bishop Angaelos issued a press statement today warning that the widespread brutality facing Christians and minorities in the Middle East is intensifying. His Grace said that the God-given right and freedom to practice faith and belief is being violated. Christian, Yazidi, and Shiite communities indigenous to the culture of the Middle East are being threatened by extremism, he continued. His Grace said that these atrocities should not be spoken about in a religious framework, but as crimes against citizens of their own countries. His Eminence Metropolitan Bakhomios of Beheira and Pentapolis and former locum tenens of the Coptic Orthodox Church was transported by air ambulance from Cairo to England on the 27th of August, after which he was transferred and admitted to a London hospital for treatment. His Eminence was accompanied by His Grace Bishop Beeman of Ous and Naada. Physicians overseeing the treatment of His Eminence, including Professors Michael Hanin and George Hanna, reported the following. Metropolitan Bakhomios was transferred from Egypt to England because of resistant fever and disturbed consciousness. He underwent detailed investigations which confirmed the diagnosis of meningoencephalitis caused by West Nile virus. He's currently receiving supportive care and treatment and has already shown signs of slight partial improvement. This disease varies in its prognosis between patients. We pray for his speedy recovery, that he may return to his diocese, his flock, and to the whole church at the earliest possible time. As Scotland prepares to vote on its independence from the United Kingdom, the International Monetary Fund warns that a vote in favour of Scottish independence could disrupt the financial markets. According to news.com.au, success for the Yes campaign would be likely to create uncertainty in the short term as politicians thrash out complicated issues, particularly over what currency Scotland will use. Longer term, the impact on the economy would be determined by the detailed results of the negotiations carried out in the wake of the vote, the IMF added. Asked at a regular press briefing if a vote in favour of breaking up the union would be a huge blow to the British economy, IMF Deputy Spokesman William Murray said he did not want to comment on the political process itself, but he added, a yes vote would raise a number of important and complicated issues that would have to be negotiated. The main immediate effect is likely to be uncertain over the transition to potentially new and different monetary, financial, and fiscal frameworks in Scotland. The brain is still active while we are asleep, say scientists who found that people were able to classify words during their slumber. BBC News reports that researchers from Cambridge and Paris introduced participants to a word test while awake and found that they continued to respond correctly while asleep. The sleeping brain can perform complex tasks, particularly if the task is automated, the study says. Further research will now focus on how to take advantage of our sleeping time. Written in the journal Current Biology, the research team set out to study the brain's behavior while awake and during sleep. This explains some everyday life experiences such as our sensitivity to our name in our sleep or the specific sound of our alarm clock. Using an electroencephalogram, or EEG, they recorded the brain activity of participants while they were asked to classify spoken words as either animals or objects by pressing a button. Sid Coudet from the École Normale Supérieure in Paris said, "We show that the sleeping brain can be far more active in sleep than one would think. This explains some everyday life experiences such as our sensitivity to our name in our sleep or to the specific sound of our alarm clock compared to equally loud but less relevant sounds." He added that it was possible for people to perform calculations on simple equations while falling asleep and then continue to identify those calculations as right or wrong during a snooze. Any task that could become automated could be maintained during sleep, he said. But tasks that cannot be automated would stop as sleep took over. Their research could lead to further studies on the processing capacity of our sleeping brains, the study said. And that's all for CYC News today. Stay tuned for more Christian content on CYC. From the CYC studios in Sydney, Australia, have a blessed new Coptic year. Good night and God bless.